All right, so I've been having this issue lately that when I'm driving my car, I'm getting this error on my instrument cluster, especially when I use my turn signals, when I use my hazard lights, the car makes no noise. It makes no clicking noise and I'm getting these errors. So if I turn the car on quick, foot on the brake, you're gonna get a chance to see that error instrument cluster, please service vehicle. And you'll see it says error on the bottom. This light then comes on, front assist not available. And what happens is when I use my turn signal, it's silent. When I hit the hazards, it's silent. And after looking into this issue, what I found is if I can pop out this instrument cluster, there's a little speaker on the inside that has likely blown out. It's a $70 fix. Now, I went to the Volkswagen dealership and I said, hey guys, I'm looking to buy a new speaker for my instrument cluster. They said, hey, it's gonna be $1,900. We can't do that. We're just gonna replace the whole infotainment system. So I said, absolutely not. So what I'm gonna do is make a quick video on how to pop this thing out, how to replace that speaker, and see if we can find a part number. So let's figure this out together, and hopefully not only can I save some money, I can save you guys some money.
Now, before you do anything, you're going to want to pop your hood and disconnect your car's battery. And you'll want to do this proactively here because it's going to help you prevent getting an airbag error down the road. Now, you'll see I missed this step initially, and you'll see how I fixed it later on. But just to save yourself the headache, it would be really smart to disconnect your car's battery first.
So I brought the car outside, went ahead and turned it off. So one of the things that you're gonna need for this is a little pry tool. I got this actually when I set up my dash camera here. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna pry off the trim, and in order to get to the bolts that can release this instrument cluster, we have to essentially take off all of the surrounding trim. As we get started, what we're gonna wanna do is release the steering wheel, drop it down, just to give ourselves maximum room to work with. We're gonna start prying. Prying and praying, baby. I'm just gonna start pulling on this. And there it goes. You can already see it started to disattach right here. You can actually put your finger back here now that it's slightly separated and pull right here. Now I'm creating some pressure right here. So I don't want to break that, so I'm gonna try and get under here. You pop this little red thing off, and then you push this little tab down, and it should slide off. There it goes. That was good. That sounded really good. So you popped up, boom, boom. Boom. Put that in the back seat. Get that out of the way. You see those right down in there. T20s we got to get rid of, and then we'll pop this out momentarily. All right, we got our T20. Oh, these are on there. Yeah, buddy. All right, here goes one screw. There it goes. Let's figure out what we're doing next. So now we got the T20 screws out. What we're gonna do is we're gonna shove our fingers, try and shove them in behind the instrument cluster and pull it out. I think there's a couple of push to fit connectors, so I kind of fiddled with it a little bit before I turned the camera back on, and it's going to be a pretty aggressive pull, and the space isn't very big, so if you have bigger hands you might struggle with this. It might make sense to ask a friend with skinnier fingers or potentially employ a kid here to help you out. But anyway, if we stick our fingers back in here, there's one. Oh, there's two. Gosh. You're just gonna push this down. This thing will come around. Thing will free up. And for this, you just push it and pull it up. Instrument cluster is out. There she is. That is a scary sight. And that right there is the main culprit. So I was parked out in my driveway and I had to move the car back to the garage because what I found is when you unplug the instrument cluster, the car loses all power. I had my windows down, I had everything. So I had to plug that back in. I'm gonna unplug everything just like I just showed. But just a little FYI as you're doing this, you will lose power when you do that. All right, so I went to the Volkswagen dealership and unfortunately they did not have this particular part. So what I had to do, pretty much what they said is, hey guys, it's $2,000 and that's all we can do. We're gonna replace the whole instrument cluster. I said, absolutely not. I'm gonna get solution oriented. So what I did is I looked online and I got a speaker. I haven't even opened this yet, from Italy. So I'll share a link to the supplier that I bought it from. It actually came surprisingly fast. Coy, when did I buy this? It's like Thursday, I think. I bought it on Thursday. Today's Monday. So it came in the span of a couple of days. It is $70. I had to pay, I want to say it was like $40 in shipping, and then I had to pay a VAT charge of, wow, I just need to just shred this puppy. I had to pay a VAT charge of 40 bucks. So it came out to about 150 total, but at the end of the day, if this is ultimately the fix and this saves $2,000, I'm very happy to pay. And at a minimum, I tried it. If it didn't work, I'll be able to sleep well at night. Goodness. So, oh, a little letter, just like a bill. Let's see the part. I hope it fits. Made in Italy. There you go. So here's what we're gonna do. So I've already removed the majority of the screws. I just have a little bit left here. T10 attachment. You can go ahead and unscrew that. These are my 3 little screws. And then what we'll do is we'll just pop this out. Now, when you pop it out, there's a little bit of a connector here. You just pull on that. It should come out, I think. You should be really careful with this. There you go. Just pulled on it. Came right out. So anyway, that's the part. That's the culprit. Now we have our new part. You'll see the little, kind of like a little plug. And you'll see the little teeth in there. So you just make sure that you line things up. And it goes this way. All right. Well, at least it fits, right? It's either this or $2,000. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to show this whole thing. I'm just going to go ahead with my T10 attachment and get these screws back in. We're going to plug it in to see if it works. It's just a little dust in here, so it could be a good opportunity to clean off the dust. Purple guy, it goes right in here, and then this snaps in place. Let's turn it on. Airbag, that's interesting. Turn signals are working. They're making the sound. We don't have that air anymore. The hazards will work just fine. They're just unconnected. I can't turn those on. But the thing that I'm just worried about is now the airbag went on. I got the auxiliary power on. That's why the engine warning's on. That's nothing to worry about. But that's the one that I'm a little bit weirded out about. I got to figure out how to take that off now. That's weird. That's the next thing. We got to figure it out, baby. Now, if that's going to be a $30 part from Japan, I'm just kidding.
Now that we know the speaker replacement works, I'm just going to make sure all the connections are nice and tight. And then I'm going to align the instrument cluster and I'm going to start popping it back in.
We're going to take your T20 attachment, plop that in, and we're going to put these bolts back in, or whatever, screws back into the dash. Now just be careful not to drop it. That would be not the most fun. All right, so I called one of my smart mechanic buddies, and what he said is likely what the issue is, because this is also the sensor for the passenger airbag, which essentially says, hey, if there's somebody on here that weighs over a certain weight limit, the airbag will be on. If they're under that weight limit, the airbag will be off. And because I didn't disattach the battery before I disconnected that, now I'm getting that error. So this is actually really good. If you're watching this video, make sure that you disconnect your car's battery when you're doing this project, so that when you disconnect this and you take everything off, you can replace the speaker, put it back on, reconnect this with the trim, and then turn your battery back on. You shouldn't get that code. But now, because we need a professional diagnostic tool, which you can go to probably a small little car shop. If you don't have that, ask them to reset it. I fortunately have a friend who's a little bit more mechanically inclined, so he's going to help me reset that code, and hopefully we should be good to go. So here is the trim, right? Just made sure everything is nice and tight. If you guys remember when I took this off, there was a really loud ding. One of these little clips fell out. Unfortunately for me, it fell out in the foot area here for the passenger. So here it is. Here's that little component, that little clip. So one of the things that I would just ensure you guys check is make sure that all your little clips are definitely in place. And so I was trying to discover kind of where this one came off, and it was actually right here. And so just looking at the way that this one is positioned, I'm gonna just go ahead and fit that one back on. So not really that important of a step, because hopefully that doesn't happen to you, but it might. And so I think it's just important to understand which side any of these clips might have fallen out, so that you can, of course, put it back on. So looks like this just slides on like so. It's kind of weird because it kind of folds down like this. Just gonna make sure everything is lined up. Fish the hazard lights through here. Little red guy goes up top. And this blue dude we are in. Just gotta make sure that we're lined up, which it does appear as if we are. Just a little push. All right, there we have it. All the dings and the chimes work. Cruise control, everything should be set. Now we just got to get rid of that airbag fault. So on to that next. Code is no mo. It's only half an hour later. I decided to just go to the Volkswagen dealership. Told them I was doing some work to my car, forgot to disconnect the battery, and had an airbag code pop up. And so they willingly, for zero cost to me, connected to the car system and cleared all the codes for me. So we are good. Obviously, the airbag code is not coming back on. Turn signal and everything is making the proper noises that it should. So we're fixed. That's it. All for $150. Didn't have to spend $2 grand to replace that full instrument cluster. And overall, nice and easy project. She is back home, tucked in, everything is fixed. Pretty simple part, just a $70 speaker. Tad bit annoying because for some reason Volkswagen and USA cannot sell that part, but there are a lot of different manufacturers. I saw different people on eBay sold a similar part. I just had found this manufacturer in Italy. I got it. I think I bought it on a Thursday. It arrived by Monday. I live in Wisconsin, so it was with, the part was about $70, and then with taxes and shipping, I think the total came out to be just under $150 or thereabouts. But overall, $150, I will happily pay over $2,000 for having to replace a full instrument cluster. So really happy with how things turned out. I think it was a fairly simple fix. The only, thing is finagling a little bit the trim piece, but definitely worth it to go through kind of the headache of getting that trim off than having to bite the bullet on $2,000. So overall, pretty simple fix. Pretty quick. If you're getting all those symptoms that I was saying in the beginning, just go ahead and buy that part, take away the trim, and go ahead and plop it back in. Really simple. Highly recommend you guys do that. So hopefully this video helped. If it helped you out, I would really appreciate a like, and please feel free to subscribe for more content with these beautiful whip skis. See you guys.